will call the Irmo Town Council regular meeting for February 3rd to order. And I will recognize Councilman Walker to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance and the invocation.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Dear Lord, bless this council and the decisions we make tonight so we do the things that you want to do in your name. Amen. Amen.
Next item is the reading of the minutes for January 20th. Is there a motion for approval as written?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor then of the minutes to be approved as written, do so with show of hands. Next is the administrative briefing. Mr. Brown, do you have anything to add?
Just a reminder that Chambers Gala is this Saturday. The Chamber, the Gala.
Oh, the Chamber, yes.
Yes.
Thank you. 7.
It is.
Hotel on Bush River Road. Can you move that way? The hotel at Bush River.
Yes.
Any questions of Mr. Brown? None. Next item is receipt of communications, and we have on the agenda introduction of Irmo Farmers Market coordinators. And I think Heather Hardy.
Good evening. We haven't seen you guys since December. It's nice to see you all again. We sent you an email right after Christmas, first of the year, letting you know that as much as we've enjoyed the farmers market, Karen and I actually have families, full-time jobs, Brown Box Veggies. It's a great little small business that we have, and then the market. And it's just gotten so much for us, and we've seen a lack in our sales with Brown Box as well as family time. So we've worked with Chris and Lisa Abel, who have graciously decided to take over the market, the day-to-day operations of the market. And she's here tonight. Lisa's here tonight. And what we've done is, so that nothing changes at all, we have, they're going to use the same tools that we have, the website, social media. The only thing that's going to change is we probably won't be unpacking cars at 5:15 in the morning. The Abels will be unpacking cars with the vendors at 5:15 in the morning and 6 o'clock, and then staying until 1 or 2 o'clock repacking those cars. So just, wanted to introduce you to Lisa. Her husband wasn't able to make it tonight, but assure you that we'll have a presence at the market. We'll still be there. I'll be there bright and early. I'm a part of Irmo. So we want to make sure that this is still successful, just to reassure you that nothing's going to change other than 2 other folks are going to be operating it. If you have any questions about it, and we'll send their contact information to you, as well as there's some adjustments to the policies and procedures just as it deals with farmers. It's going to be a little less expensive for the farmers to come to this market. We're hoping to draw some more backyard farmers with that. And but I'll send you all the information and contact information, address, and all that good stuff. And then make sure that they get in touch with the town administrator for the fee.
Heather.
Yes.
You have done a wonderful job.
Thank you.
Which makes it hard for you because
Yes.
now we're spoiled.
Yes.
We certainly thank you for starting the farmers market, for getting it up and running, and we love it.
We hope the third season's going to be a great. Well, we won't be, not around. We plan to be at every single market. Again, I live here in Irmo, so I'll be here bright and early with the Abels. I'm not sure if I'm going to stay till 2 o'clock in the afternoon because it's always a veggies day as well. But we appreciate that. We appreciate the support of the town and allowing us to do this. Any questions? Do you have anything you want to say?
I'm looking forward to working with everybody.
This is Lisa Abel.
Good to meet you.
Thank you.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
All right, thank y'all. Thank y'all. Next item is presentation by citizens for agenda items. This is where if you want to address fellow town council for something that's on the agenda, you may do so at this time. All we ask is you give us your name and address for the record. Anyone who'd like to address council.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor. Thank you. George Glassmeyer, 100 Denbeck Road. I'd like to address item 9C, the approval of transfer of $6,250 from the ABC Permit Fund to the Okerstrut Fund. I have a number of concerns about this. First of all, I don't understand what the hurry is. Second of all, as of today, according to Town Hall, the Okerstrut had in its various accounts over $7,000 in cash available now. I don't think they need to get more money from the town, at least until they use up what they've got. Also, I'm concerned that no money should be transferred to the Okerstrut Fund until at least the pending criminal investigation by the Richland County Sheriff's Office is complete, and this council crafts a finalized organizational structure for who's going to run the Okerstrut and how it's going to be funded, and what supervision there's going to be by the council for that fund. And until all those things happen, I don't think we need to pour any more town money into the Okerstrut. Thank you.
I just want to remind everyone, let's keep it kind of in bounds, so to speak. Anyone else who would like to address council?
Was I out of bounds, Mr. Mayor?
No, I'm just clapping and stuff. I just want to keep it kind of, I understand, but yeah. Anyone else who wants to address council? Seeing none. Next item, unfinished business, we have none. New business, we have 2 items. One thing I want to add before we get started, our ordinance does allow any council member to ask that each or any ordinance be read in its entirety at first reading, just so everybody here, and I'm going to ask that. So if we get a first and second on these, make sure we just read them, not just what's on here, but on here, so that everybody knows what we're talking about when we move forward. So first item is number A, 1501. I'm going to let y'all make the motion as y'all see fit. So well, it needs to be read, and as we spoke at the last meeting, the ordinance has to be read by someone. Unless we're not going to do that anymore for us. Each person can read their own motion. So we'll need a motion before we can start. And it needs to be read too.
Okay, I make a motion on first reading of ordinance 1501, amend the Irmo Town Code as follows. The duties and responsibilities of the presiding office of the mayor, section 241, to create a new responsibility called duties and responsibilities of the presiding officer.
And that's the title. What I'm asking is that the ordinance itself be read so that everybody here knows exactly what's on the ordinance.
Okay,
Which is basically everything from an ordinance down to by the council, so to speak. I need a good copy,
yeah, the ordinance to amend the Irmo Town Code, Article 2, Council Division 1 generally be it ordained and ordained by the mayor and the council of the Irmo Town Council. duly and lawfully assembled, that the council duties remain as follows. Amend section 2-34, duties and responsibilities of the mayor. Delete 1, serve as presiding officer at the meetings of the council, and delete number 4, sign or execute contracts, deeds, resolutions, proclamations, and other instruments on behalf of the town after review and approval by the council. Add section 2-41, duties and responsibilities of presiding officer. 1, the presiding officer shall be appointed by the town council at any time by motion and majority vote. The presiding officer shall be any council member except the mayor pro tem. The presiding officer's main function will be presiding over regular council meetings, special meetings, and called council and scheduled workshops. The presiding officer shall also have authority to sign, execute contracts, deeds, resolutions, proclamations, and other instruments on behalf of the town after review and approval by the council. So adopted on this day of March.
And is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? No. Recognize you first, if you want to go first.
Kim Stanley, I'm sending you an email. You're gonna get this in my, you're gonna take notes. I changed the copy of it. I'm about ready to read on your email. Mr. Mayor, at the last council meeting, you stated the Robert's Rule of Orders will be applied sometimes. In our meetings, in our form of government, we, by ordinance, follow the decorum and civility that Robert Rules of Order allows us. We do this in order to conduct ourselves as elected public statesmen that we are, and we do this because we have the right to put forth on this council anything we wanted to have a right to debate or challenge without fear of being investigated by the county police, ethics commissions, or simply by you picking up the telephone and making frivolous allegations on behalf of the town of Irmo. Since you've taken office, you, on behalf of the town of Irmo, have insulted citizens who donated several acres of land to the town for a veterans park. On behalf of the town of Irmo, you assaulted the South Carolina Parks and Recs Commission when they awarded us $50,000 to develop this park, and took this nonsense all the way up to the Attorney General's office. On behalf of the town of Irmo, you assaulted Mrs. Condon when she found land that we bought for a new community park and called for ethics investigation of her. And you, on behalf of the town of Irmo, called and insulted a community business who pledged $120,000 for naming rights to our amphitheater to the point where they asked, why are you making it so hard for us to give you money? And now you want to cripple the Orchestra Festival by insulting the volunteers, micromanaging them, lamenting on how they're losing money, and not making a profit when the festival was never designed to generate revenue for the town of Irmo. Unilaterally, you call for a criminal investigation of the Orchestra finances, which potentially scares off any new sponsors to our festival. Mr. Mayor, our form of government by ordinance allows us to delegate certain duties and responsibilities to the mayor. I am amending this current ordinance to separate certain duties to a presiding officer. This person will take the duties as set forth, serve as a presiding officer at our council meetings, sign, execute contracts, deeds, and resolutions, or proclamations, or any other instruments on behalf of the town of Irmo after review and approval by town council. And this action is not unprecedented since we took the check signing authority away from you early in your tenure when you refused to pay vendors who had done business with the town.
Do you want to go?
Well, my position, I made it public in the media that I just thought the last meeting was one of those straws that kind of broke the camel's back. It was very embarrassing. And we are a council form of government, and I just think it's out of order for us to be told when we can speak and when we can't speak. And, you know, I realize your difficulty with that and all, but even at that meeting, you know, you violated your own rules multiple times. And I just don't see how a council can operate with having to have approval of anything that they want to say. And whether you decide or anyone else decides that it's acceptable or not, and if not, then you just declare it not so and gavel them down. I just think it's a change that needs to be made.
Anyone else? Go ahead.
If we were a strong mayor form of government, I would probably be more inclined to agree. But we're a strong council, so the mayor doesn't have any more power than I do, or you do, or anybody else. Now, I don't mind him going one by one to let us speak. That doesn't bother me. And I'm concerned that this gives the town, not necessarily a black eye, but the controversy and the talk that's going on is not favorable. That concerns me the most. So I probably will oppose it because the man's elected, I have respect for the office, and I think we ought to leave it the way it is.
Well, I have thought long and hard on this subject, and I'm going to read my statement, so I won't leave anything out. I am going to vote against this amendment, and I hope all on council will vote against it as well. I am a member of this council, and I respect the office of mayor. The fact that I may disapprove of the mayor's conduct is not justification to totally change the way we have done business for years. To attempt to strip him of his powers just because we can, in my mind, would be abusive and disrespectful to the office of the mayor. Just because we have a right to do something does not make it the right thing to do. I understand the mayor was elected with significantly less than the majority of the people that voted, but he is the elected mayor. I feel we are duty bound to respect the election process, and I believe that stripping the mayor of his power would go against what I was elected to do. I maintain my respect for the office the mayor holds and maintain our system as it is. Please understand, by me voting no does not mean that I am for the mayor. Thus, I will be voting no, and I urge everyone to vote no. And with this statement, I have nothing else to say.
Thank you. I'm not going to respond and can't respond to everything that's on the other stuff because I can't remember it all. I will, however, respond to a couple different things that was in WLTX. One of the comments that Councilman Walker made is that I need to preside over the meetings consistently using Robert's Rules of Order. As I've stated before, not all Robert's Rules of Order are applicable to a municipality. And there's a lot of Robert's Rules of Orders that we do not adhere to. Some is for the informalness of our meetings, some because we just never have. At the last meeting, there was a discussion that I had placed on there in regards to decorum, interrupting, speaking one at a time, and those kind of matters. It was challenged that I couldn't do that. Yet, in 2014, Councilman Walker had a discussion on the agenda. I think it was October 21st, It did not require a motion, nor did it require a second. February the 18th, Councilman Hoops had one on. That one had to do with the ceremony for the grand opening of the new park. I think Councilman Walker's had to do with the noise ordinance. I had two on February the 4th and one February 21st of June. There was no motion, no second. I got to looking back. In 2012, there were actually 26 discussions on our agenda for that year. 8 were on there by myself, 7 by Councilman Walker, 5 by Younger, I think 2 by Condon, and 2 by Hoops. None of them had a motion, none of them had a second. And we've always done it. I went back to 2011, I went back to 2005, and it's always been that way. One of the reasons we do discussions, even though I'm kind of opposed to them, because there's no way to end them technically, because you can't call a question on something and got a motion. But at the same time, it allows us as a council to discuss stuff with one another, as opposed to doing it on an iPad. And since we don't have the committees, and we've been a committee as a whole since 2005 that I can remember, then this is always a way for us to handle those discussions, which we've always done. Yes, I think it is a black eye. I mean, we should be able to get along better. And I myself think we should get along better. But one of the first things I think we've got to do is the one ordinance that we have, 265, it talks about council members making a motion and addressing the right to speak before, not interrupting. I think it's going to be the main thing. I think if we can abide by that, it will help us to go a long way toward having a more civil meeting. We did stick to that, or we brought that up, I think, at the last meeting, and said we need to start doing that. There are times when I myself may interrupt someone. I think myself, and even Councilman Hoops, as I mentioned before, if someone's interrupted me and it's a short little word they want to give or a point across, I think that's acceptable. A continuous interruption is not. And as far as that meeting, the old saying, it takes two to tango, there was 2 of us. It wasn't just one. And the lady did come up and address us. And I was kind of embarrassed by it. Like you said, it is a black eye. I think we can be better. Whether we agree or disagree or whatever the situation may be, I think we should still have respect for one another. As far as some of that stuff you mentioned, the vendor that you had referred to, that wasn't a vendor, that was a contractor. And the contract hadn't been signed by the town, so it shouldn't have been paid. That's why I didn't pay it. I think we discussed it 2 years ago. And I could probably discuss that other stuff if Kim could email it to me. I can respond to it, but I'm not going to. I think we do operate as far as we can under the Robert's Rules of Order. I think there are some that don't apply. And I try to go by what the council leads and what we've done in the years past, even by the previous mayor. If there's some stuff that we need to stick to the rules more, all a council member has to say is, I wish we'd stick to this rule more, and we can do it. And I said before, the Robert's Rules of Order says that presiding officer can't vote. The state law requires it. Robert's Rules of Order requires everybody to speak once, and then you can speak a second time. It also has a limit on time. It also has a other stuff. We don't adhere to that all the time. I think it's not necessary for an informal meeting. But anyway, that's about all I want to say. Any more discussion? We ready to vote? All in favor then of first reading of ordinance 1501 to amend the Irmo Town Code, do so with show of hands. All opposed? Next item is item D. Again, I'm going to ask that in the ordinance so that we all know and the public know that we may not care about this one as much as they may, but at least while they're here, they know what we're talking about.
Mr. Mayor, I had asked this one to be placed on the agenda, and it asked the clarification from our town attorney, based on conversations that we had at the last meeting. I'd like to read the ordinance into the record. This is ordinance 15-02. An ordinance to amend the Irmo Town Code, Article 4, Boards, Commissions, and Committees, Division 2, Orchestra Commission. Be it ordered and ordained by the mayor and council of the town of Irmo, in council duly and lawfully assembled, that the Orchestra Commission is amended as follows. Add to section 2-262, membership, paragraph D. An administrator is authorized and will be contracted and compensated based on qualifications. A fair and equitable compensation will be recommended by the Orchestra Commission and approved by the majority vote of council. Add to section 2-264, duties and functions, paragraph B. Administrator, responsible for developing and distributing applications along with rules and regulations, will provide coordination and resolve issues with all vendors, food, amusement, arts, and crafts. Prepare and implement website data, marketing, and contract negotiations for transportation and support initiatives. The administrator will ensure the collection of all required fees and implement a plan to obtain the maximum sponsorship, donations, and available grants. Have a plan in place to accept and reply to all telephone and or email communications. Administrator will coordinate and manage the site preparations, ensure the proper placement of vendors, oversee the festival and site cleanup. Passed and adopted this day of March 2015. Mr. Mayor, yes, I made the motion and read that into the record, and I would state that this is one of the avenues that the town attorney gave us at our last meeting would be a clean way to clean this up. I know it has been brought up before that the Orchestra Commission is clearly stated what their duties and responsibilities are, and that it doesn't say that they need or shall have an administrator. It has been something that has just been decided over many years. It happened because Town Hall was overworked, and as the festival grew to much larger, it became a bigger and bigger burden on them. And I think this just kind of cleans that up. It still doesn't take away any of the responsibilities that council has as far as approving a contract, but it does so to state that one would be acceptable.
Let me get a second real quick to make sure. Anyone second? Is there a second? Second. Okay. You go ahead.
So the only other thing that I had looked at, and there was another question as to whether or not this would be a professional service or something that had to be bid out each time. And again, with the recommendation from the town attorney, that could easily be added to it. In the paragraph that reads, add to section 2-262, the first sentence says, an administrator is authorized. At the end of the word authorized, add as a professional service, and will be contracted. That could come
It's
at second reading.
Yeah, because, I don't think
I
there's
just-
an amendment to the first.
We didn't get the official wording from the town attorney before this was initial first reading was crafted.
You wanna go? Anyone want to discuss?
I would like to. Let's say that this goes, this passes, then we have to, we have select, we have to submit bids or ask for bids for this position, which I would see this being delayed, possibly what, maybe 30 days or more to do that. I kind of like to get this overstruck going, and why can't we just operate it without an administrator? Let Bob be the administrator, but that would be a savings there, and I believe we could do it. We could try it. And maybe look at next year, but for right now, just don't pay somebody to do it. That's just my opinion.
I think that's a good idea. There's nothing wrong with this. This is fine. But you're right, we'd have to put it out to bid. And I'm sure Bob would be delighted to do it. And maybe we should try it 1 year. See where we go.
I thought we said that we didn't have to bid this out. Is that pro? Is that?
The research would show that, in my mind, the best course is to bid it out. It's not clear, sorry. Under the definitional section of the ordinance, it is not clear that this would be qualified as a professional service as the ordinance presently is written. Therefore, the safest and most prudent thing to do would be to bid it out there. You have an ordinance right now which says that a member, a person may not be on the Oak Construct Commission and be compensated. And the proposal as it's written would basically not comport with your ordinance. To me, the smartest thing to do is either amend the ordinance the way that Harvey is talking about amending it. But clearly, if you were going to contract with the person that's proposed, I think that you should bid it out. You just, under the way it's written, there's no getting around that. It should be bid out. There is enough question about whether it's a professional service that would require you to bid it out. In the meantime, you need to clean up your ordinance one way or the other. However you want it to be operated, you ought to clean up the ordinance. There's no two ways about that either. You know, you might want to give this first reading tonight and have some further discussion about how to further amend the proposal, but get something on the table that you can work with for a second reading. I would highly recommend. You know, but the question that we were asked is it something that has to be bid out? And I think the answer to that is yes. And then the question was, does the ordinance as written need to be modified? The answer to that, I think, is clearly yes. So hopefully I answered your questions. But I'm available for anything else.
What was the, and this is a question to you, what was the result? Well, when we had Mrs. Hoots was the administrator. That position wasn't, that was selected by us for her to be administrator.
It was, and the truth of the matter is, looking back on it, we probably should have bid it out. We didn't. We ratified it. It's okay. There's no real harm in what was done. But, you know, as we move forward, we learn. And clearly, with the way the ordinance is presently written, the question has arisen as to whether it should be bid out. And there's an argument that can be made that you don't have to, that it qualifies as a professional service. But under our definitional section of professional service, it's written in a way there's no clear definition of professional service. And you've got enough controversy going on now, and everybody is basically looking at this thing with dot your I and cross your T. You've got to be as conservative as you possibly can, and the advice that I have to give you has to be as conservative as I know how to give it, in order to make absolutely certain that you're doing everything exactly right. In order to avoid any type of criticism at all, the smartest thing to do is to make sure that you bid it out, at least for right now. Now, if you want to change the ordinance to do that in a way you don't have to bid it out, or if you want to make Bob the overseer of the Oak Construct Commission this year, all of those are options available to you. I think that there needs to be some legitimate discussion and debate as to how you folks are going to handle the administration of the Oak Construct next year, whether Bob's going to do it, whether an administrator's going to do it. All of those things need to be discussed. But if under your present ordinance, unless you change the ordinance like Harvey just described, to clarify that you deem that to be a professional service, I think the smartest thing to do is clearly to bid it out if, in fact, you're going to have a paid Oak Construct administrator. And I hope I answered your question.
One thing I would say is we do need a discussion, and we may need to put it on the next agenda, even though I say I hate discussion. That may be a good one as well to have on the agenda to discuss, not necessarily to vote on, but to have a free discussion as to, how we're going to operate, whether Bob or administrator or what. And if Bob is, then what is he or Kim or whoever responsible for, and what the commission is responsible for, and what curriculum would be responsible for, so that there's a little bit better understanding between them as to how we're going to do it. I agree to kind of do it in-house, so to speak, for a year. One, to get the finances built back up, and I think that will help do some of that. And then in the meantime, maybe at our next meeting, have a discussion. As far as voting on this, right now I'd say no, and not so much because I'm against it. There's some stuff in there I want to change, but I would also like for us, before we go down the road, is to make sure that's the road we want to go down. I think having that discussion might clear up some of that stuff on how to do that. So that's what I would suggest, is maybe having it on the next agenda as a discussion item. If Bob can, how and who and what and where, and kind of determine that a little bit better. And then if that's not a good, then, I still think we could have one now if it was bid out and gone through all that stuff. In the meantime, maybe we kind of let Bob and Kim do certain jobs as far as money's coming in, opening and registering and logging and all that kind of stuff. And then, one thing we need to do too, I think, is give them a budget. They got a budget, we got budgets. We need to clearly give them a defined amount of money that they've got to operate with, so at least they can move forward and do what they got to do too, and then kind of know where they stand with that.
Question, are you saying to have this discussion and defer this until after the discussion, or during the discussion, or is that?
Well, deferring it would be an option, or I'm going to say vote, in my mind, vote against it, and then start back over at that meeting with how we need to do it if we're going to do it. But that's just me.
Second round?
Yeah.
I would urge the passage. It doesn't obligate us to anything other than clearing up things that Jake just stood there and told us we need to clear up. We've been operating that way for 20 years, and it obviously has created some consternation as to whether an administrator is needed. I contend that an administrator is needed. I can assure you that myself or any member of my family would be involved in it. My wife has refused to continue, but an administrator is needed. Town hall, knowing what is involved, town hall just does not have the time. If they do have the time, then we should be looking at town hall as being grossly overstaffed. It is an enormous amount of work that is to be done. The Orchestra Commission had recommended their chairman as, in my opinion, the person that knows more about it than anyone. And you know, you're not giving away anything other than if we tell Bob to stand on top of town hall and wave a flag, he's going to do it or attempt to do it, as he's made statements many times. You tell me what I've got to do and I will make an attempt to do it. I think it's unfair. It's, I'm in and out of town hall. I see the work they're doing. Everybody over there has plenty on their plate. And there's not anybody on this council that's offering to do it. Some have never turned their hand to help the orchestra other than be there. So I think that it needs to be done. I would totally agree with the mayor that there could be some tweaking done, some changes made here. We have to have 3 readings. We have plenty of an opportunity to do that. I contend to you that even at 3 readings, I'm just trying to clean up the ordinance. Long before that 3 readings would be up, this orchestra needs an administrator to move forward. I mean, we should have already had applications on the website by this time, or by the end of February anyway. If you expect them to get commitments from vendors that were here and have been with us for many years, if they don't know that they're going to have a place, they're going to take something else during that weekend. So that work needs to be done and be done post haste. Now granted, after the applications get out, there will be a lull and there will be plenty of time to make changes and tweaks and carry on. And the orchestra has done that year after year after year, making changes. The big one this year was the big new park. And we went back from a baby festival to a big one again, all in one fell swoop. So my contention is, I think we need to move forward with the ordinance modification, and I totally agree with doing tweaking to it, but let's get it started. And I would contend, I disagree with Mr. Youngner that, and with you, Ms. Cotton, that town hall can do it. I know they could, but something's going to go unhandled, and they're going to come back to us and need more people. That's the facts.
Well, I believe we should vote for the first reading, just to have it, as our attorney suggested, just to have it on there so we can, discuss it more next meeting. Meanwhile, I believe that Bob should be involved with it so he can move forward. These applications you refer to, is there any, I just need to ask, is there anything that would prevent him from doing that? To work with the commission to get it? I don't think it's just sitting idle. That's a question, I guess you need to answer that one, but I would hope it can still move forward, even though there's not a paid administrator in the event there is going to be one, but certainly we can vote for the reading, so we can discuss it more next time, next meeting.
Mr. Mayor, can I answer this question? To answer your question about, is it something that town hall or Bob could move forward on, at the last orchestra meeting, when the commission sat there and they were going down their list of to-dos, things that need to be done post haste, the question kept coming up, well, now who's going to do this? Or how was that done before? It was done by the administrators. Well, who else did, the administrator did that? Everything was done by another person. The commission members have jobs and have families. And they go to work every day, they come home, they come to a meeting, but then they go home. They don't have time to sit down and draw up new rules and regulations, and there's going to be major changes in those this year because of the changeover from the ticket system. Again, it's going to have to be somebody that's going to take that bull by the horns and develop those new documents. And those are things that I will say needs to be done post haste once they get out in the mail. And there'll only be about 250 of those that need to go out initially. Then you'll have a little lull. And while you're getting those back in, they all come back to town hall anyway. They have never come back anywhere else. They come back to Post Office Box 406. Town hall would get those, and during that lull time, there's going to need to be some software set up to log those things in and start working with placement, that type of thing. And about that time, here comes the parade. And everything starts over with the parade, with the applications and those type things. So, you know, it's a progressive deal that needs to take place. And I would hope that council would not hamstring the Oklahoma Commission, expecting them to jump in and do something that the majority of them have no clue about. They just were there to do and make it operate once they were given the tools. Somebody else was generating the tools for them.
You want to speak?
It seems to me that it seems to me like the placement of the administrator is systematically going to destroy the festival in the sense that it's not going to make it more feasible for somebody to be in charge of how this actually going to happen. By delaying tactics, by delaying the administrator appointment or replacement of the administrator, you essentially are going to delay the operational function of the festival itself. Now, you say you can give it to Bob, and Bob was willing to take on the responsibility of doing that, but you know, that's a lot of giving it to Bob. We're telling him to do. We're asking him to take on not only his regular duties as administrator of the town, but take on this actual function of the administrator of the Strut Festival itself. I don't know what the problem is. I don't know why you seem to be, you know, bent on blowing, you know, not letting the appointment go forward from the person that they want to, you know, they've put forward for administrator, but you've done that. So if you want to systematically destroy the festival, I guess we can go ahead and just keep waiting and let's wait and you know, go forward and let's not have an administrator and then wait until June. And then when we finally get one, it'll be, oh, we don't have enough time to get to the end of this festival and get it right. I mean, that's what it seems like to me. So, I mean, you can go the way you want. Mr. Hoots is trying to put together an ordinance that will help us get to this end result, which is us getting this festival off the ground and going and continue building its festival.
Let me say one thing. Take that back again. If we ask Bob to put those applications on the website, I believe it would probably be done sometime in the next 24 hours.
Tell me.
I'm trying to answer it.
Oh, okay.
I don't think we're holding it up. I have no desire to hold it up. I know Bob doesn't. I don't think Paul does. Well, Paul's fine. That's not the object. The object is to find out where we are financially so we can continue from now on. I don't want to delay anything. I think we have to establish what it is we're going to do. And maybe this discussion thing at the next meeting will do it.
What does the administrator have to do with being financially sound?
That we know what Bob can do in terms
I'm
of,
asking, what does the administrator have to do with being financially sound?
has to do
Not
with
with
the
Bob.
money, the organization, with everything. We know that I know the town can handle it, without a doubt. So don't say delay it, because that's not my purpose at all, and I have no purpose that is not positive toward the overstrike, never have.
One thing I want to add is I think I've heard Councilman Younger and Councilwoman Condon speak of the town being able to do it, so it's just not me believing that the town can do it. I think they're fully capable, and I think they can. I could also argue some of the things that didn't get done last time, but I'm not. We could also talk about, we've had an administrator off and on for I don't know how many years, with or without this in the ordinance. And I think if we pass this, amended or as is either one, sometime in March before it's through. If we move forward with bidding it out, that's going to be 20 days, 30 days, whatever it takes. Maybe 2 weeks. What, is there a certain time you have to bid something out?
Well, I mean, at least 7 days, but we probably should give them 14, 2 days, probably just to get enough applications in, or at least get the word out to enough people.
So either way, it's going to take 2 weeks to 30 days to get someone in that position if we elect to go this way, based on if we have to bid it out or not. And even if I'm reading this, and that's why I'm kind of confused, is even if I read this, I still believe we have to bid it out at the end of the time. Now, it may not be right, but, so then we wait till March and then bid it out. As far as the tactics to kill a committee choice at the whatever, the responsibility of the problem with that was not who, but how. State ethics says, and I don't know if Jake checked into that, but state ethics does say that a public official cannot vote or partake in a conversation or a meeting or whatever for a contract with a financial interest for himself. So that was done improperly, and that's pretty clear. So it has to go back and be done over. Whether they elect him again, or whether it has to be bid out, which I believe it does, and then they award the contract to him, that's a different story. But I would also, you're talking about black eyes, if we turn around and rewrite our ordinance or do the bid in a manner that we can award it to whom we choose, I think that's a little bit not above board as well. But I think we just have to be careful in how we do that. That's the way it was done, that's what I addressed, and that's what was done wrong, so that's why they got turned out. Not because of any delay tactics, because it wasn't done properly. State ethics is pretty clear on that. There's 2 paragraphs and there's a definition, and it's very real and understandable. But I still think we would do better with not moving forward on this, and then starting over after we've had that discussion on how we're going to do it. I do believe the town can do it. It may turn out that we get into it, and somewhere in June, or May, and the bids are back, and we got good pricing and good responses, we may at that time hire somebody to do and step in. I don't know. But I think those are all possibilities as well. Any more discussion? All in favor?
So you say the June?
Well, I'm just saying,
Administrator in place in June?
if we had to bid it out, or if we pass this thing, or not, or whatever, it could be March or whatever before we got to that point. It may be that, we decide there's good people, there's not good people, I don't know. It could be that everybody that bids on it is $20-some thousand, and we say no. It could be everybody's $10,000, and we say yeah. But it could be even later than that when we decide we got the bids, we got the names, we got the numbers.
You're talking about bidding out the festival?
No, the administrator, yeah. And then all that comes
So you
back.
say bid it out and let them put their own price in?
No, I'm just saying, if we move in that direction, either way I think we go, we got to bid it out based on what Jacob said. Once we get the bids back, and then at some point down the road as we get closer, Bob says, hey, this is a whole lot more than whatever. We've already got all those bids in hand. We may turn around and say, okay, we're going to hire one of these people here. I'm just saying that's a possibility as well. Moving, I don't think now or whatever is going to make a whole lot of difference. I think they can do what they got to do. Whatever they need us to do, as far as the county staff, I think we can jump in. It may not be a permanent, it may be a temporary until we get that resolved. But
Well, we need somebody working on this full time. I mean, somebody dedicated to this process, putting the festival together.
and that's it.
Now, if you're saying you want Bob to do it, then I'm expecting him to work on it full time, enough time, give enough time to it, that he gets accomplished what we want to get done. And not, not his fault.
I would agree with that. Whoever
I'm gonna put him responsible, I'm gonna put him on the hook for that, So,
And that's what I'm saying, even at the next meeting, it may be something we need to put on there and discuss and really know better what those responsibilities are. And we could be bidding it out at the same time, I don't know. Any more discussion? All in favor then of item B, first reading of 1502, do so with show of hands. All opposed? Next item is C. And there is approval to transfer some money. I'll let somebody read that and wants to make that motion.
Mr. Mayor, I ask this to be placed on the agenda. Make a motion that we approve the transfer of $6,250 from the ABC permit fund to the Okra Strut Fund. This is the fund that those funds are earmarked for things like the festival. We don't have anything else in the town that we have used it for in the past. It's something that we normally move that way. Do it a couple times a year. I know that there has been discussion about that the festival had about $7,000 left in their account. This would add to that. That would allow them to go ahead and start looking at booking their bands for the festival, as well as some other deposits that need to be made right now without the town having to put money into the festival, giving them a chance to get their sponsorships in as well. But this would give them more operating capital. And it's not something unique, it's something that we've done every year.
And is there a second? I'm going to take that as your opening statement. Do you want to add anything else, or
No.
do you want to go, or did she second it? Anyone else?
We have been using this fund every year for this purpose, is that correct? So to me, it's a routine item that we do. We don't actually have these funds earmarked for anything else. And they have to be used for tourism and what's the other?
Tourism, beach nourishment,
I'm going to forego the beach nourishment.
green spaces, parks, different kind of items like that, but trails, that kind of stuff. I think I heard Bob mention want to go picnic tables,
Yeah, anything tourism
anything,
related.
so we can use them for those items as well.
well, materials and tourism.
So I would be in favor just to do that. I mean, certainly we're going to have funds and the orchestra to start off.
I would have a tendency to delay this since there is an investigation going on. I would want to know what that investigation says before we put any more money. This is town money. you know, the town receives it for its use. We've always used it for the overstruck, we probably always will. I think when there's something like this happening, we ought to respect it and wait and see what the answer is. And I don't think it's gonna be that long, although I could be wrong. I think we should wait to make this decision.
Do you want to make a motion to defer, or?
Yes, and that's, we've always used it for the overstruck, we always will, but I think we ought to wait, since we know there's an investigation going on, until it's cleared up, or whatever the problem is solved.
So, I'm assuming you're making a motion to defer.
Yes.
All right. Is there a second? I will go ahead and second that for discussion. May I go ahead, or you?
No, go ahead.
I agree, and I think I agree with the gentleman who spoke before. I do think we ought to defer it. I think there is some money in there, and I'm not 100% sure how much. I think it's about 7 maybe. Is that feel
About
correct?
7,000 now, right?
And as far as the deposits that are paid on the van, how much are those typically?
It just depends on how band you get. I mean, last year deposit was what, 5,000?
Okay.
If you got other deposits, you have to pay for like hotels and stuff like that. Try to get those deposits too.
So I agree with Kathy, I agree with the gentleman, it probably can be deferred. That's not necessarily a delay tactic either. I still kind of just feel like we need to wait a little bit, but I agree with what we said, well, here, we can't really wait either for some. I don't know. I still think they got enough to do what they need to do, but that's just me. Any other discussion on the deferral?
Yeah, since you're saying it's deferred because it's investigation, what's this investigation about? I didn't know anything about this investigation until last Friday, a week before Friday.
You know everything I
So,
do.
what is this?
It's about the finances.
So nobody knows anything about the investigation, all you know is what they told in the newspaper? I mean, who ordered, you ordered that investigation, Mr. Mayor? What are you gonna order an investigation of?
I think I stated to the newspaper as well what was in there, and that's not on the agenda, and I'm not going to discuss it.
Well, I'm asking what the investigation is, if that's the reason why you're saying delay it, then I'm just asking clarification of what the investigation is about, since I wasn't brought into the conversation in the investigation, not that I had to be, but nobody seems to know what they're investigating on, or what they're looking for.
I'm gonna wait for them to respond. I think they know what they're looking at. I don't think they but I'm not gonna speak on behalf of them. And that's not on their agenda to discuss that, and I'll do the same thing the sheriff department says. It's an ongoing investigation. I'm not gonna comment on it. I've already had spent 3 hours with the people a couple weeks ago and 3 hours last week, and I'm breathed out on it. But any more discussion on the deferral? So all in favor then of deferring it, do so with show of hands. All opposed? So we're back to the approval to the transfer of $6,250. Any more discussion on that? All in favor then of approval to transfer $6,250 from the ABC fund to the overstruck fund, do so with show of hands. All opposed? So that passes. That's all of that. Next item on the agenda is presentation by citizen. This is where anyone can address council on anything, regardless of whether it's on the agenda or not. All we ask is you give us your name and address for the record.
Good evening, council members. My name is Michael Wazeski, 235 Torrington Road, Irmo. Just want to add one more item to Mr. Brown's plate, of course, for the online, perhaps, that the documents that are discussed that was illustrated today, how they may not be able to be reviewed prior to by citizens, of course. So just to be able, perhaps even a link or some other type of method that such like an ordinance could be reviewed easily. Now, I'm not sure maybe if I missed it on the website. The website's beautiful, of course, so kudos on that, but just add something more to that.
Are you on our email list?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Do you get the, what's that thing called, listserv? Do you get that?
The listserv, I don't believe I have the listserv. I
That
do
would be
receive
one
the.
thing, because the agenda goes out on the listserv, correct? Yeah.
Is it hyperlinked on the, oh, is it hyperlinked on there that you can read documents or perhaps the,
No, it,
The only thing that's on that is just the agenda itself.
right, I do receive that email with that agenda, but nothing,
aren't the ordinances somewhere, Bob?
Yeah, under the townofirmo.com.
the proposed ordinances that are discussed
Yeah,
on
we're
this
talking about
agenda.
What we're discussing tonight.
Yeah, and that way the citizens, of course, can preview before that and, perhaps omitting even the need to read them in
They would
repetition,
appear.
although that's good procedure, I believe.
They would appear on the agenda as an attachment to the agenda.
Something to that nature, yes, sir.
Okay.
That's where they do appear now.
No, I haven't seen them in that nature yet.
We don't put those on in that manner. We do for your iPads, but not to the general public.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
It's probably a good idea to do.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? No one else? Whoop. Cool. I'm not sure he. Whoop. So, no one else? I think the next thing is executive session. Is it necessary? Do we have anything?
I would like to have an executive session
Okay.
to discuss a contractual matter with our attorney.
Okay. So all,
Did he leave?
all in favor then of executive session for a contractual matter, do so with show of hands.
Did someone second?
Oh, I think so too. Okay. So, we get vote, right?
Yes.
All in favor? Okay. Okay. We're going to go into executive session. There'll be no votes taken, and then we'll be back out to adjourn. You ready? We're back out of executive session. No votes were taken, no decisions, whatever, and we're now at adjournment. So is there a motion for adjournment?
So move.
And is there a second?
Second.
All in favor of adjourning? Say aye.
Aye.
And we're